Time to rebuild the brake caliper. First step is to pop off the black beauty cover to access the pad retention pins. To remove the pins, you remove the small clips that retain them. You can remove the pins and drop out the pads. You don't actually have to do that since we are taking the caliper apart by splitting it, but you can get them out of the way. Use a 14mm wrench or ratchet to remove the two bolts that hold the caliper together. I used a long piece of scrap wood to provide the counter leverage. A soft jaw vise would also work, but be gentle since the caliper is made from aluminum. This is why I removed the pads. I use an old toothbrush, but really anything works. Clean up any loose dirt to keep it out of the piston bore. Then remove the bleed screw. If I had thought ahead here, I would have removed the pads and used the brake pedal to push the pistons most of the way out, but I did not. If you try to use locking pliers like I did to remove the pistons, be sure to keep a shallow grip so that you don't mark up the surface of the piston that will slide past the seal. An air compressor can work too, but use something soft to catch the piston as it flies out if you do it that way. Once you have the pistons removed, you can access the seal and dust cover. I cleaned the piston and bore of all the old brake fluid and any other general nastiness. I removed mine with a small flathead screwdriver. Take care to not gouge the bore. Again, aluminum. Repeat with the second caliper half. After opening the parts kit, I use the deeper side to hold some fresh brake fluid. I use this fresh brake fluid to pre-lubricate the new brake piston seals and the pistons themselves. The thicker rubber ring is the actual seal. It goes into the deeper groove. The thinner ring is the dust cover that goes in the very shallow groove. Repeat for the other half. In this application, the parts are interchangeable side to side. Once the new seals are in place, lubricate each piston before installation and press them into their respective bores. Work the piston past the dust cap by hand, and then I used a rubber mallet against my wooden workbench to pop it in the rest of the way. Gentle tap, but you'll be okay. Once both pistons are installed, it's time to put the halves back together. My bolts were kind of gnarly, so I removed the worst of the corrosion with some sandpaper and a wire brush. Use the new O-ring that came in your rebuild kit for the crossover port. Carefully line up the halves and use the bolts to firmly affix them together. I snugged them up by hand, then got out my handy stick for the final Guten tight. Then use the new pins and clips from the rebuild kit to install the new brake pads as normal.